When John entered the house, he heard familiar but unexpected sounds. He didn't care why he came home early. He was just home. He opened the door. "John, it's not. Leave it." John stepped forward, causing Pumper to recoil. John grabbed him by the thinning hair and yanked him back. "I want to destroy you," John said quietly, looking him in the eye. "Lift your chin. You can't strike me. I'll sue you." "Screw you. Lift your chin." John's tone was calm and even, hiding the anger beneath. "I swear to God I'll sue you. Do you know who I am? Do you think I care?" Pumper lifted his chin, grimacing, thinking he could take it. John grinned and pounded his fist several times. "Oh my God, John, what did you do?" "Brett, I have a lot of questions for you, but not now. I need to leave before I do to you what I did to him. Just remember, screw you." His voice was soft and threatening. John didn't yell when angry. He spoke softly, making people strain to hear him. "John, do you even know who he is?" Her eyes widened, hands covering her mouth. "I'll tell you what I told him. Do you think I care? How could you do that in our bed? Screw you." John walked down the hallway, ignoring Maggie's pleas to stop and talk. "Leave me alone." He left the house, got in his truck, and drove to the liquor store for bourbon. He parked at Walmart, drinking straight from the bottle, watching traffic. When the phone rang, he glanced at the screen and ignored it. Maggie kept calling and texting. Finally, he answered, "Hello? John, where are you? Come home so we can talk. We need to get past this. It's over." "You mean Brett?" "No, he woke up mad, threatened you, and left." "That's good to hear. Did you enjoy him again?" "No. Never mind, I don't care." "John, how could you ask me that? I can't imagine asking that to the strumpet I married." "Don't call again." "John, where are you?" He hung up and returned to his bourbon. The next morning, he felt the pain of sleeping in his truck. He needed coffee and a bathroom. It was 7:30 a.m. He bought jeans and a shirt at Walmart, then changed in the truck. At the office, he found 37 messages, 20 emails, and 3 missed calls, all from Maggie. Bob entered his office waving a hand. "What the hell is this? Are you drinking it or bathing in it? Smells like Maker's Mark 2019. Such a good year," John smiled. "Bad day yesterday. Worst night." He hung his head. "Crap. What's up, buddy?" Maggie unhappy. "If you show up smelling like that, she'll be more pissed. Screw Maggie." John looked at Bob. "You never did that, right? You're kidding? I did right before you tore my head off. What's the matter?" "I got back early. She was in my bed. "Oh, crap. Are you sure?" I stood in the doorway, took a look. He showed his abraded hand. Strike the crap out of him. "Oh, crap. Someone from the law firm. He wasn't answering questions when I left." Softly, Bob asked, "Did you destroy him?" "No, he's coming after me. That bald prick. It would have been better if you did." "A crime of passion." "Now it's premeditated. You're screwed." "I know, I loved her." "Why?" His voice was anguished. "I gave her everything. Loved her more than I thought possible." "Why?" A tear rolled down his cheek. "Have you asked her?" "No, I don't want to talk to her." "You'll never get answers if you don't." "I know, I don't want to know." "Screw this. I need to disappear." "You're leaving?" "We worked so hard on this place since we graduated." "Don't give up." "I can't afford to buy you out." "We'll figure something out." "I'm getting on a boat this afternoon. I'll call you when I get there." "John, wait. Where are you going?" "I won't know until I get there. I'll call you. Keep paying my salary. If it gets unfair, call me and we'll work it out. I'll keep working on the design from the boat. When I'm settled, I'll send my new bank account info for direct deposit." John gathered what he needed and headed back to his truck. He stopped by the bank to set up a new account and grabbed a starter checkbook before dropping a note to Bob and driving to the marina. The dock was buzzing as he reached his 33-foot Grady White yacht. It was 11.5 feet wide with a small but spacious cabin and an upgraded 560-gallon fuel tank. The 2 Yamaha 350 motors made it fast. He leaned back, staring at the GPS screens, calculating distance, fuel consumption, and provisions. His route included stops in Virginia Beach, Charleston, Jacksonville, Cape Canaveral, Fort Lauderdale, and Nassau. At a couple of hundred miles a day, he expected to reach Nassau in a week or two, depending on the weather. A storm from the Gulf could delay him, but he hoped it would head north. Planning helped distract him from his pain. He needed to leave quickly, fearing he'd be found before he could escape. Once at sea, he knew he'd be alone for a long time, facing the dangers of solo travel. His phone rang, but he let it go to voicemail. The message read, "You have to talk to me. Don't just walk away from us." This enraged him. Don't walk away from us. Had she thought of that when she slept with Pumper? He called her. "John, where are you? I've been worried all night and day. Where are you?" "It doesn't matter. I want answers, John. Just come home and talk. Please don't give up on us. You already gave up. Remember the event at school? That was a mistake. I should have trusted my intuition instead of my heart. Now I'm screwed. John." Maggie sat at her desk, staring at a photo of John, tanned and smiling while holding a fish. He was always fishing or traveling for work. She'd traveled with him a few times but hated the places he went, like Mountain Home, Arkansas, and Monroeville, Alabama. The last time she joined him, he was in the oil fields north of Guatemala, and she was miserable. She knew she was a complainer, grumbling while he worked in the heat. He came back exhausted, and she dragged him to parties. He didn't want her to work, but she needed to stay busy. She went to law school, got her degree, but settled for a paralegal job. She loved the excitement of the legal environment, the big cases, and the energy. One day, a junior partner called her into his office. Maggie was well-built and confident. Knowing her looks and personality made her a valuable asset. "Maggie, we have an interesting case that's being fast-tracked. It's a land deal that needs city approval. We need someone willing to work overtime." "Are you interested?" "Sounds interesting. Where is it?" "Just outside Washington, D.C., and Maryland. The zoning is correct, so we only need city approval. It'll take time and I need your help. Interested." "Sounds like fun." She didn't quite understand how it happened. Late nights at the office led to dinner outings, first a deli, then a nice restaurant, then a club. Dancing was a fun escape. John was away Monday through Thursday, due home Friday. She knew the dance with Brett crossed the line. It excited her that he wanted her. Giving him a little push wouldn't hurt, right? "We can't do this, Brett. We're married, just not to each other." "Brett, no, please not here." John checked the weather. It was calm enough to reach Virginia Beach. He planned to refuel there, then head to Charleston, avoiding Oregon Bay. After a grocery run, he shut down the engines, pulled the ropes, and left the bay. He glanced back at his truck, feeling like he was leaving an old friend. He set the autopilot down the Chesapeake, tethering the boat to the guest dock, and pulled out his phone. 54 texts, 30 emails, and 5 more calls from Maggie. He had to deal with it. "John, where are you?" "You have to listen to me. This doesn't mean anything. You're talking about our marriage." "No, it meant you lied and our marriage is over." "When did it start?" "John, please come home. We need to talk." "I'm not coming home." "Where are you?" "Gone. You won't find me." "You left town?" "Where did you go?" "Away." "You tore my heart out." John's voice broke. "Screw you. Don't call me. I'm dead to you. Goodbye." "John, please don't go. Please don't go. Please." "Bye, Maggie. Have a happy life." "Brett, let's go." "John's gone and Barb's not expecting me." Maggie was shocked but followed Brett to his car. During the ride home, she checked her phone, feeling fear and anxiety. She doubted again, getting angry. Why was he always on the road or fishing? She decided she'd do it once and forget. John would never know. She went straight to the bedroom and woke up at 11 o'clock. "Brett, no, we can't do this again. Come on, Maggie, you liked it. Shut up, Brett. It won't happen again, Maggie. Now that I've had you, I don't know if I can work with you without more." "This could affect your job, Brett. What would it take to make this stop?" "I love my husband. He would destroy us if he found out." She started crying. "One more time, then I'll think it over." "Damn you, John. What did I do wrong? Why wasn't I enough? I loved her so much." John decided to wait out a storm instead of risking rough seas. He bought a folding chair and sat watching people pass by. He couldn't stop thinking about Maggie and Brett. The memories flashed in his mind, tearing at his heart. He remembered the first time he saw her laughing in the student center, her hair catching the light, her natural smile, and those ice blue eyes. She looked at him and smiled, making him blush. He gathered his things, thinking she was out of his league, but their eyes met as he walked past. Hi, she's so cute. And he's not brilliant, but not creepy either. I hope she remembers me. I'll remember her. A few nights later, he was at the frat house door. The keg was full. "Hey, I saw you at the Gull's Nest, right?" He turned and saw her. "Yeah, I think so." "Why didn't you say hello?" "I did say hi." "But you didn't stay and talk." "Why?" "I didn't think you'd be interested." He blushed. "You don't talk much, do you?" "Not really." You're making this hard. You're very direct, he said, smiling. It's an art. She flipped her hair, laughing. John fell for that laugh again and decided he'd do almost anything to hear it more. She's out of my league. I should leave now. I should go. I have a test tomorrow. Wait, what are you studying? Engineering. I have a test on thermodynamics. I don't know what that is. I like engineering because it has rules that can be creatively applied. I'm not sure what you mean. She smiled expectantly. Here's the point. If I look at you from across the room, you're at least a 9. If you're smiling, a 9.5. Laughing, a 10. I'm a 5, maybe a 6. She laughed. Don't date someone more than 1 or 2 levels above you. The lower rung will suffer. I'm just that kind of person. Come on, you don't believe that. Absolutely. I worship you, convinced you don't walk on water to keep your shoes dry. I'm obsessed with school or projects. That's just who I am. He smiled and she found it cute, almost boyish. I'm also absent-minded and sloppy. No, you're not. I just tolerate mess well. He smiled, blocking out the party noise. You'd start smiling less and not laughing at all. Then some great guy would find you and you'd think you deserve better. Eventually, you'd hate me and I'd leave heartbroken. We should skip to the end to avoid the pain. You're crazy, she laughed. In my mind, we had a relationship and we parted as friends. Have a good day. Have a happy life, he whispered in her ear. Goodbye, my love, and walked away. She stood stunned, watching him disappear into the darkness. She tried to follow but couldn't catch him. 2 days later, he was reading in the student center when she, a bubbly blonde, approached. Hi, Mindy, this is my ex. We were happily married for a while until he lost confidence and left. Hi, ex. Hi, Mindy. He doesn't even know your name since you weren't married. Well, we might as well have been. What's your name? If I'm going to pine for a lost love, I should know your name. John, Maggie. She shook John's hand with a firm grip, yet her hands were incredibly soft. They talked until it got dark, noticing Mindy had left. Thanks for the time, Maggie. Have a good weekend. I'll be looking for you, John. If you asked me out, I'd probably say yes. Maggie, your 10 against my 5 won't work. Looks aren't everything, and you're definitely above a 5. Now that I know how smart and sweet you are, a 10 doesn't fit. In my eyes, you're closer to a 10. Don't sell yourself short. You're tall, muscular, but not too much, and you have a beautiful face. Why do I scare you? She looked at him, noticing his unique brown eyes. When you laugh, my heart gets lighter. Your smile makes my knees weak. Even when you talk about boring subjects, I hang on every word. I'd do anything to make you laugh. She laughed and he smiled thoughtfully. You don't talk about your problems and think about others. That's irresistible. I'm scared you'll break my heart someday and it will be my fault. Did you just say you love me? Yes, I have to go now. See you later. John, wait, she called out as he crossed the room. Please don't make me beg, just meet me for dinner tomorrow. He hesitated, then shook his head. I have a test Thursday morning. How about Thursday night? I can't Thursday, but Friday works. Sure. Meet me here at 6. She kissed him briefly and ran off. He watched her through the window, then noticed the guy next to him laughing softly. You're done, kid. She won. He leaned back in his chair. The rain wouldn't stop. Feeling cold, he went to the cabin, crawled into bed, and tears mixed with the rain on his face. He missed her terribly. He vowed never to make the same mistake again. John woke to sunlight streaming in. He made scrambled eggs and sat at the small table, remembering how much it hurt to think of Maggie. He looked at his phone and saw messages from his sons, Jimmy and Sydney. He hated that they were involved in all this. Jimmy had just graduated and was working as an intern. He called John, saying he didn't need monthly payments anymore and wanted to be independent. Sid, a scholar working on his doctorate, loved the sea like John. He joked with Sid about studying ocean engineering, knowing things rust in salt water. The thought brought the first smile to his face in days. Hey Sid, I saw you called. Hey Pops, where have you been? I'm on vacation, traveling. Mom's going crazy. Dad, what happened? You don't need to know, buddy. Just know I need to get away for a while. Mom wants to know where you are. If I tell you, you'll tell her. Please stay out of it. Dad, what did you do? Nothing. Just know I'm out of town and we'll be in touch soon. If you need anything, call me. Leave a message if I don't answer. Are you on a ship? Did you sail north or south? Yes, I sailed. North or south? I have to go. I'll call you. Love you, Sid. Love you too, Dad. Jimmy's call was predictable. Dad, where are you? What have you done? Mom is hysterical. She's been calling me every hour. What have you done? I haven't done anything. Go home. You're acting like a child. Jim, don't take sides until you know the whole story. I'm going away for a while. I'll call you sometimes. If you can't tell me what you did, stay out of it. Jimmy's tone brought John out of his thoughts, anger surfacing. I'll say it again, Jimmy. Don't take sides until you understand, then decide. Mom thinks you have a girlfriend. I'm traveling for work. She can have the clothes, the house, the car. No girlfriend? Never. Don't do this, Jimmy. Don't call me Jimmy. My name is Jim. You're acting like Jimmy. Let's not do this again soon. I gotta run. Damn. John always had a good relationship with both boys, but Jim was a mama's boy and an athlete. John was his chauffeur and coach. They had a good relationship, or so John thought. He knew Sid would be patient, but Jimmy would take sides quickly. A weather check between Virginia Beach and Wilmington, North Carolina, showed good sailing conditions. He had 3 days of calm seas before the next system. In 3 days, he should reach St. Augustine, then rest before heading to Palm Beach. It was going to be a long journey. He set fishing lines, followed the channel across the bay, and hit the open sea. South. Definitely south. On the open sea with autopilot on, memories spun in his head. She says you're the best thing in her life. Sitting on a low wall, Becky called, needing to talk. Becky, we had dinner twice, a movie, a picnic, and a barbecue. We kissed a couple of times, that's it. He met Becky at a barbecue, another perky blonde, Maggie's sorority sister. Maggie had given her his number. I know, but she says it was the best night of her life. She's good for you. Just make a move. Are you kidding? Are we in high school? She wants more than occasional Saturdays. Last question, why me? I see guys chasing her all the time. Why me? You're good-looking, funny, smart, and great at kissing. You should open a kissing booth. John laughed. I'll call her. We can talk, but it has to be a relationship. Becky laughed. Please call her. She's moping because she hasn't heard from you. Does she know phones work both ways? She could have called me. Becky glared. I'll call her. John met Maggie at the sorority house door. She was waiting on the stairs as he approached. Hi, Maggie. Hi, Becky. How are you? Hi, John. She turned to Maggie, brushing her shoulder as if removing lint. Don't be late, dear. I'll be waiting upstairs. She laughed and ran up the stairs. John, can we talk? Sure. Here? No. Too many eyes and ears. Let's walk. As they walked across the field and sat on a bench, Maggie began. John, do you like me? Do you find me beautiful? We covered that before. Of course I want you. Every guy wants you. What's the problem? A Porsche drove by and a guy leaned out. Nice, baby. Let's go for a ride. John smiled and Maggie gave the guy the finger. That's the problem, Maggie. Every guy wants you. I need exclusivity. I'm not competing for your heart. John, I'm not interested in anyone else. Ashim, when I saw you at Bogart's last week, it didn't seem that way. Holding hands with that guy? He doesn't mean anything, just a date between friends. Why didn't you tell me? I need exclusivity. I can do that. What about when I have to travel for work? Will you wait for me? John, you're the only one I want. I'll break up with the other guys. They're just friends. Maggie, I need trust. Once it's gone forever. John, I promise I'll never lose your trust. So we're officially in a relationship? John blushed, which Maggie found sweet. Yes, John, thank you. They walked around campus for hours, ate lunch at the student center. When they crossed the road, Maggie twisted her ankle and would have fallen if John hadn't caught her. Crap, that hurts. John gently removed her tennis shoe. It's not swollen. Can you put weight on it? Let's get you to the ER. John carried her to the ER, and after a mild sprain diagnosis, they walked out. John carried her to his apartment, placing her on the bed. As he navigated the waves, he thought about Maggie, tears in his eyes. After refueling, he parked for the night, got a folding chair, and sat on the deck with a bottle of whiskey. John was too hungover to sail the next day, so he stayed on the yacht. His phone vibrated until it almost fell off the table. Finally, he answered, Hello? John, where are you? Why don't you want to come home and talk? It's not my home anymore. I'm not coming back. John, please don't do this. Please, it's not. Don't say it didn't mean anything. It was just one time. I hate being a cliché. Just one question. Why? John, please. I love you. Can we forget about this? Maggie, remember when we started dating? You said you were breaking up with Tim, but it didn't look that way. This is worse. You broke my trust. Answer my question. Why? John, it was a mistake. That's the first true thing you've said. It ended our relationship, our marriage, and our happy home. Remember. John's anger grew along with the discomfort in his stomach. Haven't I always given you everything? A house, car, clothes, jewelry? I thought our life was good. You never complained, and now it wasn't enough? He heard sobs through the phone. It's not you, John. It's me. Screw you. Why, Maggie? Just tell me why. John, come home. Tell me where you are and I'll come to you. Let's just talk. No, I need to know why. I don't know, John. It just happened. If we can't figure out why, how can we avoid it in the future? I'm done. Goodbye, Maggie. Please understand this is the end. No, John. He pressed the end button. Those early days of their relationship flashed back. He should have seen it coming. She'd promised to break up with others, but how many had there been? The memories played like a movie, her laughing with Tim, holding his hand. John stepped out of the shadows. Hi, Maggie. Her face told him everything. They'd promised exclusivity, but this wasn't it. John, this is Tim. Nice to meet you. Tim extended his hand, but John didn't reciprocate. Sure, it was good to see you, Maggie. John turned and walked away, wanting to punch something, but couldn't. John, wait. Sorry, I don't have time. Maggie was torn, planning to break up with Tim, but hadn't yet. Tim looked confused as John walked away. Who was that? Tim asked, uncertainty on his face. That was John. I wanted to talk to you about him. What do you mean? He's my boyfriend. Then why are you here with me? I wanted to tell you face to face, maybe over dinner. I don't blame him for being mad. Bye, Maggie. Tim, wait. John went to the library but couldn't focus. He gave up and went home. Hey, you're here. That girl you were talking about keeps calling every 20 minutes. The phone rang. I don't want to talk. What should I tell her? Tell her I'm not here and to stop bothering you. What did she do? Run over your dog? Hello? Ray answered. No, he's not here. I don't know where he is. He's not here. Ray hung up and smiled at John. Let's go get a drink. I'll buy the first 3 rounds. Ray pulled John into bed late at night after listening to him talk about Maggie. Once John got drunk enough, he started sharing everything about how he met her, their dates, and his feelings. Ray was relieved when John finally calmed down. A good drinking session couldn't cure everything, but it helped. John left campus after his exam and spent the week at home with his parents. His dad had gotten him into yachting with their 32-foot Nicholson yacht. John loved the sea, the wildlife, and cruising after dark with dolphins chasing the boat. He loved the night sky near the shore, where stars were so bright. He regretted not sharing this with Maggie, but Maggie was waiting for him when they docked. How did you find me? I didn't want you to. I looked for you. When Ray said you were gone, I saw an envelope addressed to you. I went to your house and spent the day with your mom. I told her what happened. She said you'd be back today. I was afraid I missed you. She warned me not to expect a warm welcome. Said you don't open up often but knew something was wrong. It's not like you to drop out of school. She was right. I don't want you here. Why not, John? I told you I was ending things. I said it would take time. Did you sleep with him? Why are you asking that? No, I didn't sleep with him. Not this time. You know I'm not a maid. We agreed to be exclusive and I've kept that promise. Tim didn't get that. He left me in the restroom. I never saw him again. John, he's gone. You're all I need. Please. He was about to leave. Seeing you with him hit me hard. I'm not competing for you, Maggie. It's either right or wrong. If you love me, you won't be with anyone else. If I find out you are, it's over. I came here to show I'm serious about us being exclusive. It meant nothing. I understand how it looked, and I'm sorry. It won't happen again. Can we go back to how things were? Please don't leave. Maggie, if you were honest, I could maybe get over it. But finding out like that made it seem like you were hiding something. I won't put up with that. He shook his head, thinking if life would be better with or without her. Things had been cold between them, but Maggie kept trying, and eventually John warmed up again. Their relationship began to grow. John sipped the warm water. Why didn't I get the hint? Has she been seeing others all this time? Was our marriage a farce? He got up, prepared to head out to sea again, buying provisions. That night, he struggled to sleep with questions running through his mind. The next morning, he set off for Georgia, then Florida, and finally Nassau. "Oh crap, Maggie. What am I going to do?" Maggie wailed to Becky. "I've lost him. I've lost everything." "Maggie, why did you do this?" "What were you thinking? You gave up a 30-year relationship for an idiot. How will you explain that to the boys?" "I'm not going to explain it. How can I?" Another bout of tears. She cradled her face, tears streaming down. "Have you talked to them?" "Not really. Since I told them he left, I keep calling to see if he's contacted them. He's only called Jimmy once, and Sid hasn't said anything. So to them, John just left you for no reason? Do you think they won't wonder if John did something wrong? Are you willing to let them think that and do nothing? You don't deserve him. You know that, right? I was good. I just stumbled. You make it sound like you slipped on a banana peel. You slept with him in John's bed. What were you thinking? Do you think John will ever forget that?" Maggie looked at her, understanding dawning. "If you'd had fun with him in the car and went home alone, maybe, but you brought him to John's bed and he found you. How can you explain that? You broke the nicest guy I've ever met. He was a coach, gave everything to you. Do you know how many women threw themselves at him? He was always polite but firm. No meant no. And you threw that away. I have to do something, Becky. I have to show him I love him. You can try, but I'm not counting on you. If you can get him to talk, if you can beg, crawl, and be the best wife ever, it might liquidate him. And you have to deal with the boys. If they blame him, it's all over. Do you get that? I've messed up everything. He has to talk to me. He has to." John was sitting on the cockpit floor, a pump in his hand, wearing uniform shorts and a tattered t-shirt. His tan had darkened under the Caribbean sun. "Hi, I'm Sarah." "Hi, Sarah." Without looking up, he noticed a locking ring on the case. If he turned it, it might come loose and he could unlock it. "What are you doing?" "Fixing the pump." "Why?" "It's not working." "Where does it go?" "What's it doing?" "It pumps water into the well." "Okay, now I know less than I thought." The sarcasm made John look up. She had long blonde hair, slim but not skinny, with the sun behind her. He couldn't see her eyes but saw her smile, and he instinctively smiled back. "There's a tank for the bait fish," she explained. "This pump takes water from the ocean and feeds it into the tank. The water then overflows back into the ocean, keeping it fresh and oxygenated. That way the bait stays alive." It was the longest conversation he'd had in weeks. "That was nice." "What was nice, Sarah?" John asked. "You explained it well, not like I was stupid, thank you." "You're welcome." "You don't talk much, do you?" "Not usually. Can I come aboard and take a look?" "Sarah, can I help you with something? I'm trying to fix my pump to go fishing. I'm sorry if I'm bothering you. My parents thought swimming here would be good for me, but it just reminds me of bad things." John saw the pain flash across her face. "If you want company, I'm not the best choice. I try not to think about bad things. Are you here alone? Where's your family?" John shuddered. The ex stayed home. "The kids are grown. You came here alone on this boat?" "Yeah, I need to buy a new pump. Stop by later if you want." "Can I come with you?" "Where?" "To buy a pump." "Sure, but I need to stop by the provision store." "Will you wait for me?" "I need to tell my mom." "Sure." John watched her run to a 60-foot sailboat. She looked like she was in her early 20s. A man peered out of the cabin and John waved timidly. The man didn't wave back. When she returned, John noticed she was actually in her early 30s, with small crow's feet and creases at the corners of her mouth. "Do your parents mind if you come with me?" "They're just overprotective. I didn't have the best time before we came here." "I'm sorry." They walked in silence, the steel drum music growing louder as they approached the marina office. There was a tiki bar with a sandy floor. John asked, "Would you like a drink? That would be nice." "Are you sure you don't mind?" "No, I haven't talked to anyone in weeks." "What do you need right now?" "A glass of white wine." John smiled. They sat at a table away from the bar. The afternoon breeze picked up, easing the summer heat. "So John, how long have you been here? What's your story?" "I went through a rough divorce and my parents brought me here to get away. They rented a boat to escape our problems." She laughed, a mix of musical and sad. Her teeth were dazzling white and her eyes a soft green. "What's wrong with that?" "They care about you. A bad divorce and I'm stuck on a boat with my parents who've been in love forever? It reminds me of what I'll never have. I love them, but it's hard." A tear rolled down her cheek. "I'm sorry to dump this on you. I have to go." "Sarah, please don't go. I understand more than you think." She can't be old enough for all this, John thought. John, I'm almost 30. It all came crashing down in 15 minutes. I left and never went back. I'm so sorry. Are you divorced now too? No, didn't go through that process. Have you talked to her? What happened? I talked to her a few times on the way here. Mostly questions from me, not many answers. It took a week and a half to get here and I've been here almost a week. Sarah leaned back and looked at John with an expression of sadness. It was the most caring look John had seen in months. John, do you want to talk about it? Maybe someday. But not now. When are you coming home? We have 2 weeks left, but maybe sooner. Dad had trouble steering and Mom and I don't know much to help. Your dad must be really frustrated. John checked his phone. 23 unread messages. He opened the marine weather app. Strong winds tomorrow, but the next day looks fine. Maybe we can take the boat out. Do you think your dad will let me help steer? I wouldn't want to hurt his feelings, so maybe don't mention you know how to sail. My dad had a 30-foot sailboat when I was younger. We sailed a lot. It's not much different. Will you have lunch with us tomorrow? Can you help my dad? It would mean a lot to him. Sarah looked both excited and nervous. I think we can work something out. Can we meet here at noon? Oh, John, I'm sorry. I understand what you're going through and here I am asking for help. It's not fair. It's okay, Sarah. I don't mind. The next day at noon, John walked up to the dock and saw Sarah waving. He shook the older man's hand. John Baker, nice to meet you. Ben Livingston. Ben's smile didn't reach his eyes, and he looked at John suspiciously. You sail? Yes, sir. My father had a 32-foot Nicholson yacht. We sailed instead of doing other summer activities. John, this is my mom, Beth Livingston. Beth looked like an older version of Sarah. Hi, John. Thanks for meeting us. Sarah told us you sail, and Ben is excited about getting out on the boat tomorrow. We don't want to impose, but it would be a big favor. Ben and Beth asked questions, testing John's sailing knowledge. They knew more about him than he expected, including his recent divorce and struggles. They understood he was an engineer, out of touch with his office for almost 3 weeks, and close to facing the world again. The schedule was set. John lay on the bow of the boat, feeling the light breeze and watching the calm water. Sarah settled beside him, looking at the sky. Penny for your thoughts, John. They're not worth a penny. I'll probably have to pay you. You've made my dad happier than I could have imagined. He's better off than he thinks. I just gave him confidence. What will you do now? I think my break is ending. I need to contact the office, sort things out with my kids, and start dividing things with her. Stand by, shouted Ben from the helm. He's in his glory, said Sarah as John rose with a rare smile. It's good to see. Look at how your mom is watching him. A cloud passed over John's face. I thought I had everything figured out. Sorry. John adjusted the sails, ensuring they caught the wind and the mainsail didn't flutter. He noticed they were heading towards the harbor, realizing the day of relaxed sailing was ending. He settled back on the sailbags. I'm not looking forward to it. I understand. I went through this a year ago, John. Whatever happens, I'd like to stay in touch. Sarah's heart pounded, but John heard it. I know it's not the right time, but you've reminded me there are decent people around. She blushed, glancing at him and quickly looking away. Decent men, Sarah? If only we'd met at another time. Later, after lowering the sails, John docked the yacht and secured the ropes. He turned off the diesel engine. That was fun, Ben. Thanks for a great day. It brought back good memories. Thank you, son. Would you mind another day this week? Ben smiled hopefully, his silver hair ruffling in the wind. He looked genuinely happy. I'd love to, but I'll need to adjust my schedule. Can I call you back? Sure, just let us know. I know Sarah will love it. I'll love it too, sir. Are you all set, or do you need help washing the boat? I think the women are already on it, but thanks. Ben smiled and gestured for Sarah and Beth to wash the deck. I'll be off then. Have a nice evening. John slid off the side onto the dock, smiling. I'm going. I feel like a British captain in Whoopee too. He laughed at himself as he walked back to Down Deep. Crawling onto the boat reminded him of his loneliness, making him feel even more alone than before. Maybe he was starting to feel again. Anger surged in him, and he picked up his phone and turned it on for the first time in a while. Ignoring voicemails and texts, he dialed Bob's number. Holy crap, you're alive. John, where are you? I'm in Nassau. No crap. How are you, buddy? You okay? I'm still pretty pissed off, Bob. I know I have a job to do while I'm here licking my wounds. Yeah. We've got a problem with Alexander's account. Their valve and elbow keep failing. Can you design a fix? Can we move the valve or eliminate the elbow? Do you have time to figure it out? Email me the plans and I'll take a look. I'll send you something by the end of tomorrow. If you do that, I won't feel so bad about your direct deposit tomorrow. Hold my direct deposit for a day or two. I need to divide things up, square up my investments. She calls every day asking if I've heard from you. Can I tell her we've been talking? As long as you don't say where I am, you can tell her we talked. Tell her I won't speak to her until she tells me the reason. I've told her that, but it wouldn't hurt for her to hear it again. How do I get in touch with you? I've called your cell many times, but I keep getting voicemail. I haven't turned it on. I'll call you every day at 3 o'clock unless I'm fishing. If I'm out, I'll call you when I get back. John and Bob talked for over an hour about various projects, equipment startup, maintenance, and personnel issues. The normal conversation struck John after he hung up. Dad, where are you? This isn't funny. Mom is furious calling me every day. Jim calls too. What happened? Asked Sid. Sid, I don't want to go into details. It was bad, and I don't see us recovering. Mom said the cops are looking for you. What did you do? I slapped someone. Hard a few times, but not hard enough. That doesn't sound good. Dad, when are you coming home? I'm not sure. I'll visit briefly. I need to get things in order first. Where is that, Dad? Not in the village. I'll tell you once things are settled with your mom and you can visit. Jimmy's furious. He said your last conversation didn't go well. He wants to know what you did to Mom. She won't tell us. Just cries a lot. He'll get over it, and so will she. Come on, Dad. Just tell me what's going on. Please. Just know that I'm fine and I'll be back soon. I'll let you know when I get there. Maybe we can have dinner. Kristen will be happy to see you too, Dad. Tell her I said hi, and I'll call her in a week or two. John ended the call, pulled out a chair, and uncorked a new bottle of whiskey. John woke up to Sarah tugging on his arm. Come on, John. You need to go to bed. You shouldn't be here. Not right now. I'm not a good person. Bullcrap. Get up, go to bed, and we'll talk in the morning. You know you're beautiful, right? In your condition, everyone is beautiful. Not everyone. Sarah smiled as John stumbled down the steps to the cabin. She laid him on the bed, pulled the covers over him, and kissed his forehead as he began to snore. We'll talk in the morning, John. She watched him for a few minutes before quietly leaving the boat. John woke up trying to count his recent hangovers. For some reason, it seemed important. John, get up. I've got eggs and bacon for you. John stumbled to the stairs and Sarah laughed. You did better last night. Yeah, about last night. Was I an idiot? If so, I'm sorry. You told me I was beautiful and that you loved me. If you meant it, fine. If it was bullcrap, then yeah, you're an idiot. Oh crap, I'm sorry. I mean, yeah, you're beautiful, but John, I'm kidding. Relax. But I'm going to make you talk to me this morning. Can you dim the sun? It's awfully bright. John covered his face with his hands. It's good for you. Vitamin D and all that. So John, what's wrong? You really want to know my full and crafty story? Pardon the language? Yeah, I want to know what's eating you up inside, John. Keeping it all inside isn't healthy. You know, I caught her cheating with her boss. You say caught, but what do you mean? Heard her talking. Saw her somewhere? No, I walked in on them. It's a sight I can't forget. Oh crap. What did you do? I punched him 3 times as hard as I could, looked at her, and left. And have you talked to her since? A couple of times on the way here. I told her I wouldn't talk to her again until she told me why. She didn't answer, so I haven't spoken to her since. You look like you're in pain. Can't you stop thinking about it? You drink yourself into oblivion every night. I loved her, Sarah. Loved her with all my soul. I cherished her. Your use of the past tense seems final. No chance of reconciliation? None. The luster is gone. We had an issue early on and I dealt with it. But this, I'll always remember that look. It makes me doubt myself. Am I not good enough? Bad in bed? Is he better? Sarah laughed. John, men worry about size more than women. For most women, it's emotional. The mind is the biggest erogenous zone. Then I must be lacking in skill. He was a little bald prick. I know I'm not handsome, but he wasn't much better. Don't underestimate yourself, John. She told me that once. Didn't help much. I should have known it would happen. Knew what? How did you know? I had a rule in college. Never date someone more than 2 levels above you. The one below always suffers. Here I was the bottom feeder. John, if she's that high above you, she must be stunning. But don't forget, she's a cheater. Are you sure it's over? Absolutely. I couldn't be more sure. I don't know what to say. I can't say anything. John, you don't want to hear that everything will heal, that there are more fish in the sea or any other cliché. It hurts, and only time can heal it. I'm sorry, thanks, Sarah. A tear rolled down his cheek, and Sarah felt the urge to comfort him. John, when you get back on your feet, would you find me? I wouldn't mind being your friend. I know now isn't the time, but later. Sarah, I have to go back to my rule. You're out of my league. Besides, I'm going home next week and you'll be gone. It's okay, John. I'll see you again. I'm just asking for friendship. I'd like to think we'll see each other again, Sarah. I'd like that very much. On the flight from Miami to BWI, John was deep in thought. As the plane lifted off, he saw down deep in Sarah's boat, feeling sudden melancholy. Memories of sailing with a loving family flashed through his mind, replaced by anger towards Maggie. When he stepped off the plane, Maggie was waiting. She looked thinner, with bags under her eyes, but still beautiful. What are you doing here? Bob told me when you were coming. Please don't be mad at him. John, I'm so sorry. Please let me explain. I'm not interested until you explain why. Can you answer that? I can try, please. Yes or no, Maggie? I don't know, John. I asked myself why and how I could do this. John, please, I love you. Only you. Please. She began to cry, tears streaming down her cheeks. Too many words, Maggie. I've been traveling all day. I'm tired. I just want to check into a hotel. I'll call you before I leave, but you have to understand. Please, John, forgive me. Please. Can't we forget this? Come home. Maggie, you knew the rules. We were a team, no rivalry. I thought it meant until death do us part. But you eliminated it. We're done. I have to go. Maggie watched him walk away, get into a cab, and drive off. John, exclaimed Bob when John walked into the office the next morning. Hello, Bob. It's good to see you. The clients have been asking for you. They want you to help with the launch. Can you go to St. Louis for a week or two? I need to see a lawyer first. I'll sort out my finances and figure out what else needs to be done. Are you okay? Asked Bob, putting his arm around John's shoulders. Bob, my head is clear, but emotionally I'm dead. I don't know if I'll ever get over this. John picked up a framed picture of Maggie, looked at it, and tossed it in the trash. Everything reminds me of her. Maybe we should go our separate ways. John, you're the heart of this place. I have a proposition for you. Once you're settled in, let's go out to lunch and talk. I don't want to hear it, Bob. Don't try to convince me to bring that cheating strumpet back. No way. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about work. Bob laughed as he left. When I get divorced, I need to make sure she doesn't get a piece of the business. I have a meeting with a lawyer tomorrow. Can you handle it? Yes. I think I'll turn myself in at the police station. You'll fire me for misconduct and I'll be a consultant after the divorce. Then she can only touch my consulting fees. I have to see a lawyer first. Do you think he'll press charges? I hope so. We can negotiate. I'll sue for alienation of affection, moral issues, and more to convince him to drop the charges. We'll figure out the details later. I hate this, John. We built this place together. It's okay. Things will get back to normal. Well, a new normal. I've got to run. John, how's it going? Tim smiled, extending his hand. I've been better, Tim. I need help with personal, family, criminal, and business law. What's going on? A month ago, I caught Maggie with her boss. Oh crap, where? In my bed. Oh crap, what did you do? Knocked him out and left. Went to Nassau for a month. Just got back yesterday. Does she know you're back? Yes, she met me at the airport. I want a divorce. Can you prepare the papers or? Tell me who can. I also need to deal with the police. I believe I'm wanted for assault. Let me make a few calls. Can you wait outside? I think we can use this to negotiate. Are there extenuating circumstances? You should be fired for misconduct, yes, Your Honor, so you can't claim your share. Please explain, I didn't take pictures, Baker. It's my word against disrespectful, but they were in the middle. Not sure if infidelity charges will stick. Your Honor, George interrupted. Okay, let's get Mary and George involved. Thank you, George. I don't know how I'll afford it, though. They were doing it in my bed, John, in my house. Don't worry about it now. A hint of a smile appeared on the judge's face. Charges hadn't been filed, but being arraigned was humiliating. Yes, Your Honor. My arm was hurting, so I didn't think a fourth judge via video link with George next to him. The state appreciates your restraint, Mr. Baker. It says here you assaulted Mr. in 2 weeks. Brett Ganaris. Is that satisfactory, striking him several times. Hands? How do you plead? Yes, Your Honor, replied George. But I didn't punch him in the head. Baker, just got the wrong guy. Mr. 3 times. Generis is campaigning for state's attorney and is very unhappy about the costs of his emergency care and dental work due to the damage you caused. If he's unhappy, so is the district attorney. Be prepared. She smiled at John. Thanks, Your Honor. We'll be ready, George answered for him. Oh, and Mr. Baker, please don't punch anyone else. Yes, Your Honor, you are released on your own recognizance. Don't leave the state, Mr. Hands. You're responsible for ensuring your client is in court at the appointed time. You are free to go. Yes, Your Honor. He'll be there as George and John left, George muttered. My God, she smiled. I've never seen her smile before. She seemed nice to me, George. She's never been called nice, more like hung Harriet. That'll be interesting the next day. John received termination papers by courier stating that the partnership was dissolved on moral grounds due to his arrest and pending sentencing. He took the letter to Tim's office and tossed it away. Now there was nothing left to do but wait. The yacht was still in Nassau. He couldn't leave the state and was unemployed. He drove to the bay in a rented car, sat on the shore, and watched the water until it was too dark to see. The next day, at 11 a.m., as he sat in his hotel room, the phone rang. Hello? John? John? Please don't do this. Maggie, I told you I won't talk to you again until you give me a reason. I didn't mean for this to happen, it just did. We were working, had a drink, went dancing, and then it just happened. Maggie, do you know how much this hurts? You ripped my heart out. I thought we'd grow old together, play with our grandchildren. Now it's all gone. John slammed his hand on the table. John, please let me explain. Let me show you I love you. Please meet me. Explain, one try. Then you sign the papers and we move on. I'll have a lot of free time soon, probably in jail. Oh my God. John, how did you get fired? You were partners. Moral clause. If either of us is accused of a crime, the company goes to the other. I have a court date next week. I won't let him do it, John. I won't. You don't have a choice. Are you still working with him? Please meet me. Let me show you I love you. Her evasiveness didn't go unnoticed. It's too late. I just want to settle my affairs and leave. Please, just lunch? We can talk in a public place. Okay, tomorrow at De Luigi in Little Italy, noon. Okay, John, thank you. I love you. Don't say that. And don't call me that ever again. You've lost that right. Okay, John, I'm sorry. He was sitting against the wall when she came in. She looked as beautiful as she did in college, though with a few extra pounds and red eyes. Maggie. He didn't stand up as she approached. No hugs? She asked with a strained smile. No. John, you're so cold. We've spent 30 years together. You had fun with another man in my bed. How many times? How long? It was only once,
Yes, you
John.
won't have another.
You're
You're
10
against
against
my
my
5.
5. Came
I
home.
don't.
I'm excited to
It
see
was
the
a
love.
mistake
If I
of
don't
your
end
life.
up in
Just
jail and
found
next
him
2
with
weeks,
someone else
sound
out of
like you
bed.
slipped on a
Where did
banana.
you
Oh my
go,
God,
John?
John, I'm so
You don't have
sorry.
to
I
run
wasn't
with John.
thinking.
I
Isn't
found
that
your
what
drug
Becky
said.
seeing
Took it
me in
home.
your head at that
It's in
moment?
the
John,
driveway.
I'm so sorry.
Give
I
it to
can't
one of
believe
the
you
guys.
lost your
John.
company.
Give it
Are
to
you
us,
going to
doesn't
fight
it?
it? He hasn't
You want
accused
to
me
know
of
pain?
anything. No. Try
It's
the
in the
contract
contract
just
just
like
like
the
when you
morals
did wrong.
clause
You
in your
think.
job.
What did you tell
I'm
Think
going
you
to
think
sue
I have
him
a
for
girlfriend?
alienation of
I just
affection.
Maggie's
His face
firm
went pale.
for not
Her
honoring
sobs
God's
made her
laws.
words fragmented.
No.
John, tears
You're just
flowed
trying
out
to
of her.
take
responsibility
I deserve
for your
I'm so
actions.
sorry.
Say whatever you
What
want.
have I done?
And I'll take
Until
it.
you
You've
do,
ruined this
just let me
family.
show you
I don't
change.
believe
I'm
you anymore,
sorry. I don't
John.
know if
I'll
I'll
ever
ever
get
get
over it or
Remember
trust
Tim
you
in
one time.
college?
I told
That
you
was
it won't
wrong
happen
boss,
back in
and it
college.
happened.
You slept with him in my bed. The most vulnerable act you can do to another man in my bed. Anger flared again. Yes. John, I'm so sorry. I can't deal with this. I'm getting out of here. Don't call or write me. Deal with the boys if they call me. I'll know you took responsibility. I'll let you know if I don't go to jail. If I end up in jail, you won't be my only call. John stood up, threw some money on the table, and walked out. Maggie reached for him, but he brushed her off. Mr. Baker, the judge said, I see you've taken responsibility for your actions. You're driving a little fast, but otherwise you haven't broken the law. She looked at the papers on her desk, then at John. Do you have any statements? Anything to say about your punishment? Your Honor, I'm sorry my actions brought us here. Sorry for wasting your time. I wish I could say I won't do it again, but if I caught my wife. He looked at George. In flagrante delicto. The judge smiled as George whispered. Yes, that's right. I'd be inclined to punch him again. I'll try to restrain myself. Mr. Baker, are you working? I was fired due to the morals clause. But I'd like to come back, but it depends on today. The court believes you made a bad decision under extreme stress. I'm treating this as a PBJ. Do you know what that means? No, Your Honor. It means I'm not declaring you guilty or innocent. I'm giving you probation until sentencing. This stays on your record for 5 years. If you commit another crime in the next 5 years, you'll serve time for that crime and this one. Double or nothing punishment. Can you behave yourself? Yes, Your Honor. It will help me restrain myself. Your attorney will have papers for you to sign. You're free to go. Thanks, Your Honor. John turned to leave, glanced back at the judge who smiled at him, and left the room. The lawyers, John and Bob, sat at the table. I can't believe it, John. I've never seen her so easy on anyone before. PBJ for assault is rare. How will this affect our plan? How do we protect the business from Maggie? John, just go back to work. If you don't, we may not have a business left to protect, said Bob. I'll keep working for the business. Tim, what if I go back as an employee, not as a partner? When this is over, Bob can promote me back to partner. That could work. Let me review the partnership agreements. See what provisions apply under PBJ. You're not convicted, but we need to follow the book. Has she signed the papers? No, not yet. Bob, I'm going back to Nassau. I'll work remotely and figure out how to get her to sign. I might head to St. Louis next week. Are you sure, John, that you don't have a way back? No, I'm done. I just want to move on with my life. John walked down the pier toward the down deep and saw the empty spot where Sarah's boat had been. A wave of melancholy hit him, realizing she was gone from his life. He cherished the memories of their time together and the boat ride with her parents. She was proof that good, loyal women existed. Maggie watched John leave the restaurant, feeling his pain like a weight on her chest. She struggled to breathe, her hands shaking. She wanted to hold him, to make everything better as she had in the past, but she knew it was truly over. She kissed John in her mind one last time, feeling his warmth as tears flowed from under her sunglasses. Mom, really? Are you kidding me? Jimmy asked. You got caught in Dad's bed. Do you know where he is? No. I tried calling, but he won't answer. I think Sid knows, but won't tell me. Mom, I'm so mad at you. I can't believe you did this. I still love you, Mom. But I don't understand how you could do that to Dad. I have to call him. I hope he takes my call. He's out of the country, Mom. He doesn't want to talk to you or Jimmy. Sid answered the next call. Sid, please make him talk to me. Give me another chance. Are you still working with that guy? Yes. I have bills to pay. A mortgage. Find another job, Mom. Unless this guy means nothing to you, you're ready to leave the family. If not, the family will leave you. Sid, why are you being so rude? I'm not the one who screwed up, Mom. You did? Oh my God, I really screwed up, didn't I? Maggie hung up and sat at the kitchen table, her head in her hands, until dark. She moved to the bedroom and lay on the bed, unable to understand why everyone was so angry. It was just one slip up, she thought. Tears flowed as she hummed the tune of a cheater's song, stuck in her head. The storm crossing the Atlantic was the fifth-named storm of the season, expected to reach hurricane strength by the time it hit the Virgin Islands. It would impact Puerto Rico, the Dominican Republic, and possibly the Carolinas later in the week. Residents in the path were advised to prepare for winds up to 140 miles per hour and storm surges of 4 to 7 feet. John had 2 days to prepare for the storm. He planned to tie up the down deep and noticed many boats had already left for storage in the U.S. He began tying down the remaining boats, ensuring the ropes were secure but loose enough to withstand the storm. Marina workers joined him. Hey, what's up? One asked, trying to secure the boats before the storm. I need more and longer ropes and a dinghy would help. Why a dinghy? I want to stretch the rope across to keep the boats off the dock and run a fishing line to stabilize them. I'll get more rope. What's your name? John. Yours? Jose. I think that's Spanish for John, right? He smiled and John smiled back. Yeah, I think you're right. They shook hands and Jose brought 5 more men with him in a wheelbarrow full of ropes. They spent the day and a half tying the boats. The sky was clear and the sound of waves echoed from the shore. John, where will you stay during the storm? Jose asked. I'm hoping for a room at a nearby resort. You'll stay with me and my family. It's safe. We've been through many hurricanes without injury. It's not big or fancy, but it's fine, thank you, Jose. But I don't want to inconvenience your family. Jose smiled his crooked smile. You won't bother us. You'll stay with us, he nodded, and it was settled. Let's get the house ready. John entered Jose's house, a simple cinder block structure with a tin roof. They had driven uphill, which John found comforting. The inside was dark but tidy. The main room was separated by a bead curtain. John heard an angry woman's voice from behind the curtain. Jose rolled his eyes and walked through, leaving John standing there. After a loud conversation that eventually quieted, Jose returned with a beautiful Hispanic woman in her 30s. She had long dark hair and a curvy figure. She extended her hand and John shook it, noticing her soft but calloused fingers. "You're Jose's new friend?" she asked in broken English with a strong Spanish accent. "Yes, ma, I am. I'm here to help." "Are you staying for the storm?" "Yes, if you don't mind." "Okay, thanks, ma, I am." "You work?" "I cook." John followed Jose outside. They secured the windows with pieces of corrugated tin, and neighbors joined in to help. They moved from house to house as the sky darkened and storm clouds gathered. John was too busy to call his boys or worry about the down deep. He focused on giving the boats the best chance to survive the storm. Back at Josie's house, they settled into canvas chairs on the porch. The woman brought 2 cold beers, handed one to Jose and the other to John, then silently went back inside. "Is she your wife, Jose?" John asked. Jose laughed loudly. "No, John, my wife is dead. This is Hermosa, my sister-in-law." "She is beautiful, isn't she?" "Yes, she is." Other men joined them on the porch, accepting beers from Hermosa, who smiled for the first time in John's presence. It was a beautiful smile. John listened to their conversation, understanding only a few phrases. He watched the sky darken and felt the wind pick up, realizing the storm was approaching. He thought of down deep and felt he had done all he could to protect it and the community. As the rain began, the men thanked John and left. One man hesitated, then shook John's hand, saying, "Thank you, John, for helping us today." "You're a friend, aren't you?" "Yes, we are friends. You're welcome, sir," John replied. The storm hit, not as strong as predicted, but still powerful. The power went out as John slept on the couch. Hermosa came out from behind the curtain, pointed to the couch, and John got up to join her. He put his arm around her as she snuggled in. They sat like that for hours, her breathing even as she fell asleep. John eventually dozed off too. He woke to find her looking at him with a mix of emotions. She was breathtakingly beautiful. Jose emerged, saw them, shrugged and asked, "¿Qué pasa aquí?" Hermosa launched into a rapid explanation. "She said you helped her through the storm. She was scared and you held her. She also said you were a perfect gentleman. But I'm not sure if she's happy about that or angry. Women, you can't understand them, can you?" "No, I can't," John replied. "Jose, are you ready to go to the wharf?" "I need to check on the down deep." Hermosa left to make breakfast. "Are you hungry, John? We'll sit on the porch, okay?" John and Jose took their chairs to the porch and watched the neighborhood come to life. Fallen branches were dragged to the curb and yards were cleaned up. Hermosa brought them plates of scrambled eggs with spicy salsa and spiced beef. It was the most delicious meal John had ever eaten. John and Jose pulled fallen palm branches out of Jose's old Toyota pickup and prepared to leave. John shook Hermosa's hand, but she pulled him into a hug and said, "Thank you," in a strong Spanish accent. John bowed his head, got into the truck, and pressed himself against her. The trip to the marina was quick, with Jose swerving to avoid debris. At the marina they found one boat flooded and another damaged, but the down deep was intact. Jose's crew arrived and got to work. Jose thanked John for his help, relieved they had weathered the storm better than expected. "Jose, what about the sunken boat? Are you helping?" John asked. "Of course. Let's see what we can do." They found the needed equipment in the shed. John helped secure the airbags and ran the straps under the sunken boat. The ancient compressor worked, and the boat began to rise. They pumped out the water, and by nightfall the marina was in good shape. "Thank you, John," Jose said, pulling him into a hug. "Are you coming with me?" John asked. "Thank you, Jose, but I'll stay on the down deep. Please thank Hermosa for everything." John started the generator on the down deep and charged his phone. He had several messages from Sid and 2 from Jimmy and 1 from Maggie. There was also a message from an unfamiliar number. "John, I heard about the storm and wanted to make sure you and the down deep were okay. I'd love to hear back from you, Sarah." After assuring Sid he was okay, he called Jimmy. "Jim, hi, I saw you called." "Yes, Dad. Sid was really worried about you." "I'm sorry, Dad. Mom told me what happened." "I'm sorry I blamed you." "It's okay, Jim. I told you not to take sides until you knew the whole story." "I know, Dad. Can you forgive her for the sake of the family?" "Jim, I can't. She destroyed my trust." "I can't go through that again." Maggie sat with Becky, worried. Oh my God, Becky, he's out there in the boat. I hope he's all right. Maggie, he knows what to do. If anyone can get through this, it's John. What are you going to do? There was a knock at the door. Maggie answered it. Are you Margaret Baker? Yes. May I see some ID? Oh my God, am I being served? Becky, he's really divorcing me. You've been served. Maggie took the envelope, sank onto the couch and whispered, No, 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 I'm so sorry. It was just one time. It didn't mean anything. Maggie, it meant something to John. 2 days after the storm, John was on the deck fixing the pump. What are you doing? Asked Sarah, standing there in a pink and white striped shirt. Sarah, what are you doing here? He walked to the side of the boat. I heard about the storm. I wrote you but didn't get a reply. May I come aboard? Let me get a chair. Where are you staying? I'm glad to see you. I don't know where to stay yet. The hotels aren't all open. I came straight from the airport. I'm sorry, John. That was stupid. What do you mean, stupid? I thought I'd never see you again. I couldn't bear the thought of you needing help. I'm sorry, John. I shouldn't have come. Sarah, the time we spent together was special. You're an amazing woman. Let's figure something out. Jose will help us. It's okay, John. A tear rolled down her cheek. I'm going back to the airport. Let's talk to Jose first. Hold on. John leaned over, kissed the top of her head, and went to find Jose. The next week, John and Sarah fished, sailed, relaxed on the beach, and spent time getting to know each other. When John left for St. Louis, they flew to the mainland together. Over the following months, they talked on the phone often. John rented a house on the island and set up an office. He arranged with Bob to return to the office for a few days each month, travel directly to clients from Nassau, and do his design work online. Bob promoted John to shareholder, and they opened an office with 5 engineers and support staff working on island projects. Maggie agreed to the divorce terms, she kept the house, and they split the liquid assets equally. Maggie sued the law firm for maltreatment, resulting in Pumper being fired. He struggled to find work and eventually left the area. His claim against John was dismissed, and John received a settlement from the firm, which he set aside for future grandchildren. Sarah and Maggie met one sunny afternoon when Sid and Kristen, along with Jim and Courtney, visited. John sat on the porch of his rented bungalow, rocking his first grandchild in a sturdy chair. Maggie watched from the foot of the porch stairs. John, I thought we were going to do this together. I'm so sorry. It really didn't mean anything to me. Maggie, it meant a lot to me. It showed that what we shared didn't matter to you. It destroyed my trust and broke my heart. I had to move on or die. Hey baby, Sarah said, coming out with a tray of iced tea and a soft drink for the baby. She looked at Maggie, then at John and back at Maggie. Hi, you're so beautiful. Just like John said, I'm Sarah. Maggie's shoulders slumped and a tear rolled down her cheek. I hope we can be friends, Sarah said, extending her hand. Hi, Sarah. I hope so too. Take good care of him. He deserves it. You're a very lucky woman.